Good morning, good afternoon, good evening wherever you are. The stream is about to start. Grab your favorite drink. Sit back and relax. You're chilling with HexAsians. With your host, Crypto Vince, Uncle Kevin Hex, and middle class working man.
HexAsians? Nice.
Konnichiwa! Emotional damage.
That last bit always kills me, man. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Namaste, HexAsians.
Hello, everyone.
How is everybody doing?
Good. Counting the days for
And
launch.
I'm going to keep my camera off tonight because what I saw.
He
rugged. He lost him.
So what I saw in the last stream was that we got a lot of views. Because my camera was. Hello.
Yeah, we hear you now, dude.
Hello. Because my camera was offline. This is crazy. Anyways, for those who are new to the stream, or rather those who already know, you know the drill. Let us know in chat what you guys are drinking. I can't show you what I'm drinking. But anyways, there were a lot of things we need to discuss.
Oh yeah, man. Post chain is right around the corner. V3 is right around the corner, and I don't think they're gonna run V3 for that long, man. I don't
if
think
at
so.
all, if at all,
if at all. I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty confident that they're not gonna. They're probably already running it in the background because what are they doing?
Oh yeah,
Zeroing out. They're trying to zero out sack balances. That's what they're trying to do. That's why they keep updating them so often, because until that's done, they really can't not do anything else, because then the accounting isn't right. The system is off. So they got to make sure that that is accurate as can be. And that would then lead to the next steps, whatever they may be.
We are sure that's definitely going to happen within May. But what date that exactly in May, we don't really know.
Don't know. Yeah, I was banking on.
Sorry.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
It really could be the 31st
right.
of May.
Yeah,
still,
it could be the
end
end
May.
of May.
Yeah. It's not mid-May, but it's still May. Yeah.
Right. I was banking on literally mid-May, so I was like, all right, maybe 5/15. That was the number I was betting on. Didn't happen, so we'll see. You know,
I tend to go to around 23rd, 25th. That would be 21st. I don't know why, but somewhere mid-20s.
Yeah, people are thinking that now since it didn't happen now or in May. But mid-May ends when? The 20th, basically?
Yeah, we have no 16th, so probably another week, yeah? What's next week?
So
16th, 23rd.
Yeah, people just got to be ready because it could happen at any moment in time. But one thing I'll say, is that remember that one time when testnet was 2 weeks away and then all of a sudden it was live. So
Yep.
Yep.
I think it was good for him to announce a live stream to kind of discuss what the
Right.
plan is ahead, because this is definitely getting people to get their bags ready. People are hopefully we see a lot of buying pressure of Hex.
But we saw it
as we
yesterday,
lead up
right?
to it.
I mean, as soon as he sent his little tweet out, price just fucking skyrocketed. Pew! Went straight to 14 plus. It's back down 13 and a half now, but it was up immediately after the tweets came out yesterday. So people are waiting.
Yeah,
they're waiting.
Man, today while I was at the food court on the base, and I saw a young couple, and they had 3 little beautiful, maybe 4-year-old little girls, and I walked by them, and I was like, you know what? I had a bunch of cards in my pocket, and I went up to the couple, and I started talking to them like, yo, are you into crypto? I see you have these,
Like a
beautiful
drug dealer.
young kids here that I really think you should take a look at this. I handed them the card, my hex.com card, and I said, I added them on a Line app, and I said, ask me any questions you want. I'm up late. It's something you really should think about. And he said he's into crypto. But he's doing PayPal and Robinhood. So I'm like, oh my God.
No.
So I'm gonna see what I can do to.
What? Not crypto.
Yeah. Correct. But hopefully he
You have
reaches
to
out
try
to
the
me
real
with,
shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
because I just don't like walking around people and just like, how many more people can I save with introducing them to this awesome product, So
Yeah, but think about it. Look at what happened. What happened? You talk to this guy, and turns out he is into crypto to some degree, but he doesn't realize he's really not.
right.
And this is why
So that's-
education is supremely important.
Absolutely.
Because it's literally on us, because everybody's being lied to out here. And this is just the start. If we don't stop it now, we're never going to stop it. It's literally.
So from now on, I'm going to try and make it a point where I just say, you know what, I'm just going to approach like, hey, can I just talk to you real quick and see where, you need to look into this. So, yeah. Every day I'm going to just walk up to somebody and be like,
There's one person. All it takes is one.
Yep.
There's one person's going to tell whoever they know. And and those people are going to tell who they know, and so on and so forth. And that's how these things grow. It's not really with no advertising. Like Bitcoin didn't have no advertising. People forget this. Bitcoin didn't have any of this whatsoever. And people forget. People really do forget. They just pretend that, oh, it's 2022, all this shit should be happening. Like, no, crypto ads are still banned. What are you thinking? All over. Grassroots is what works here. Period. Anything else is a bonus. Period.
Yep.
Nature of the beast.
Yeah, word of mouth advertisement is best. Like, I think the quote is like, a satisfied customer is your best advertisement. Like,
100%.
and like, and this is how it works for doctors in India as well. Like, doctors are forbidden from advertising. The only way for them to get new patients is through word of mouth. So, and
Wow.
it works best for
Public. Yeah, I mean, and then this is kind of what makes sense, right? Because what happens is here in the US, you see the complete opposite of that and the ramifications of that. Like, it's pretty clear that just like they tried to ban alcohol, or they did ban alcohol from marketing for a while, and they banned cigarettes from marketing for a while, they should ban pharma companies from marketing, period. You shouldn't have to sell any kind of medical treatment. It should just be what you need to get, and that's it.
Yep.
But it's not, right? So that's an issue.
Yeah, the thing. Same here, same in Australia as well. You just go to a big warehouse and you just buy whatever you like. Whatever medicine you like, you feel like you just go in there, you buy it. It's just ridiculous.
And to Alan Fizz point, they don't have to be different. You can
It just gotta
work
be
both
good,
of
right?
them together. You know, yeah. And I think there is some part of it mentioned in Sci-Vive, but I think it's the game or the game which is like considered the holy grail of pickup. Um, if you can search on the internet, you probably will get a PDF of it. Yeah. The first thing you have to overcome is called AA or approach anxiety. So yeah, you can just work that way. Work on both skills should be there.
So what's so hard about onboarding, right? Because people love, like, I honestly don't like talking about it, but people love talking about it, um, for whatever reason. And I think that the biggest misconception behind onboarding is that people think you have to have this one approach, and you can't, because everybody is not on the same level. Everybody isn't going to understand things the same way. So you got to find, like, if you're going to try to be onboarding people, you got to find the level of understanding to get that person to understand what you're trying to tell them, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how can you communicate with somebody if they don't understand you? You can't. Doesn't matter if you're speaking the same language if they can't wrap their head around the things that you're saying, right?
And you
That's
kind of have to hope that you meet somebody that is not already poisoned by the fools that
yeah,
have,
exactly.
Yeah.
kept them gate kept from Hex. If you
Mhm.
meet somebody like, oh yeah, I watch Ivan or Crypto Man Ran or whatever,
All those
then
clowns.
you're gonna be fighting with their, they're like, oh wait, I remember what Man Ran said. Let's get Luna and some other shit. But so you're trying to defeat those kind of people
Right.
thinking
That
like, who's
brainwash.
this guy?
That brainwashing. That's some
How many
serious
followers do
brainwashing.
you got? I don't need to have any followers. I got the best product on the planet. I have 0 followers, but that doesn't matter. If you're telling them something about the best thing on planet Earth, it doesn't matter how many followers I have or whatever.
Nope.
They just need to
It
do
doesn't.
their research, listen, and just build up their knowledge on the real crypto.
Yeah, but
Well said, sir.
Yeah,
the
and
hate is still out there. I think it's everywhere. I think. I mean, in my case, my family back in Europe, they say Hex is a scam just because somebody wrote a article about them in their language.
Wow.
Yep.
They don't believe it. So what I did, in their case, what I did, I literally made some mistakes for them, and I told them about it. And next time I will see them, I will give them the keys personally. So that's yours. Even though you didn't do it, I did it for you guys. You can thank me later in 15 years when it comes out. That's how it will happen because you can't onboard them. They just
you can't.
they don't want to do it. Yeah, they don't
I
trust in it.
So check it
It's
out.
just
I tried to
pointless.
onboard my boss. All right, we talked about it for probably like 5 minutes. And the bad thing about that situation was it was a Friday. So I couldn't follow up with him the next day because it was the end of the day when we talked about it. It was a Friday, end of the day. So I'm pretty sure he did his little Google searching, and that was the end of that. Because he never brought it up to me again, and I didn't either because I work on Wall Street, bro. I'm not making a block hot like you fucking stupid. Like, I don't want these people looking at me. So if he thinks I'm dumb enough to fall into a scam, even better. Because I'll be quitting soon, so it don't really matter what he thinks.
Yep.
So
Yep.
shit don't matter.
But then on the other side, I mean, I had the same thing with like Crypto King. I went to a breakfast with my wife and my little one in a hotel anyway, and there was also a little kid sitting next to us, and we were just playing around. I ended up playing with this little kid there, and I told ended up speaking to the dad. I said, "Listen, you have two beautiful children here. I will give you an address there. Have a look there. Do it for them. Don't put much in. Put $100 in. Stake it for as long as you possible can. And when it comes out in 15 years' time or so, you will be very thankful." So I don't know. I lost track of it. I don't know these people. I just give them the details. Just give a business card. So whether or not they did it themselves,
All you can do is
I
be
hope
the
they did.
purveyor of the information. This is what's hard about being in our
Yeah.
position, right? We're literally like the 12 prophets or whatever, 12 apostles or whatever. Like we're trying to get people to see the light, and it's hard because people are very focused on what they know. They're not focused on what they don't know, and it's hard to get people to focus on new things. And this is why the way we approach it is critical. You don't want to scare people off because you're trying to save people, and people are gonna think you're trying to sell them something. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody likes being sold. I don't care who you are, where you're from, or where you're at. Nobody likes that.
Because that's how it always is it not?
That's right. That's right.
So look at this picture, right? So I was making new spectacles. I've obviously had a change, blah blah blah. I saw this guy sitting here. He was very concerned. He was trying to listen to this furu, and I look at that chart. Look, he's like, he's trying to find out what the fuck is.
That's why I was laughing too. I saw that from a mile away. Like he's listening, trying to hear what he's trying to say because he's losing money right now.
Shit.
You can see that. Oof.
Yeah, he was freaked, and then I said, I told him, in Mandarin, I said, go look into hex.com. Just go look into it. Yeah, and just take it from there.
And what's bad is that that's such a simple statement, but it's so profound at the same time because we know what that shit means. But the average person, they're not gonna know. And they might not take it seriously. You know how many times, man, I remember being a young man and being told ABC 1 2 3 and not taking it seriously and then regretting it. Or just regretting the action of just like I really regret being so hard headed, or I really, really reflect on being so hard headed as a kid. Because that put me in a position where I always blocked myself from success. Always. No matter how close I got to it, I always let it slip because I didn't want to keep my mind open. And all that leads to is failure. Period. Doesn't matter who you are. So,
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. That's why if you go to school and you do your school and you study and everything, then you're already pre-programmed to do everything you're taught.
Yeah.
But by the time you leave school.
Think about it. You got a whole class of people that while we were not involved in this or doing whatever else, Hex didn't exist. We didn't have this unified friend to be like, hey, you guys don't have a clue. And now here we come after these people have been listening to these folks for so long, tell them, hey, they're wrong. This is why. And the problem is that when you say, hey, they're wrong, they're already done hearing you. They're done. And people like that, you cannot save. This is why my whole thing has always been, as soon as I've become a streamer, it's like you're reaching out to the wrong people if you think you're going to onboard people in crypto. They're only going to be onboarded through pain, just like it happens right now. Same thing happened last year. Hex ripped. Everything else is taking a shit. Literally, same thing. Exactly how it works. This is how people find Hex. And people within the community don't even want to understand that because they waste their time all damn day trying to reach out to these furus. And I see it. I'm on Twitter all day just watching you clowns. So I see all, right? And what's the end result? Nothing comes of it. Give me a second, guys.
Come fair.
Yeah. So I see everything that goes on Twitter, but I will not interfere.
That's right. All we can do is sit back and watch.
And just I had heard talk about like sales. I don't know how it pops up in my YouTube stream, but there is this saying that people buy emotionally and then rationalize intellectually.
100%.
So if you are going to try onboarding it, if you try to explain everything, how the math works, etc., like it's all going to fall on deaf ears. Try to get to their emotions, like I hate to say, like for your children's future kind of thing you can have like that was another thing I spoke on. the crypto stylists stream with Hex. Like you have to get people to invest in strollers. The and here the stroller is a metaphor for the next generation. So yeah, you should try. It's like getting people to buy strollers and then make sure that the stroller is kept occupied throughout its age.
Right.
Uh,
Strollers are not cheap too, just so you know.
No, they're not. Nothing related to
yeah,
babies is cheap, right? Shit, everything related to
Nope.
babies is typically expensive.
you know why? Why? Do you know why? Like
Selling
that's
that fear, baby.
what it's exactly that emotional.
Hmm.
All parents are willing to like
That's
give
right.
their best to their children. Like it's
And these
emotional
corporations
manipulation.
exploit that. That's right. That's exactly right. And that's what they do in every aspect. Like these, I don't even know if people know this, but very simply put, these corporations spend millions of dollars just to understand how humans think to get them to spend more. I don't know if people even realize that, but that's exactly how it works.
Oh wow. A twin prime is $1,500, 2008. Yeah, I think it's $2.5 grand now. So yep, inflation.
Mm.
Probably used secondhand. You get it for 1.5 now.
In
Pardon?
2009, I bought a motorbike for an equivalent of $1,500. So
Wow.
How much?
that's
How
how.
much is how much? How much is it worth now? Can you sell it now and put it into Hex?
Mm, probably, but I don't know. Like it won't be worth much. Uh, so I continue to use it. Rather I don't. My dad uses it now mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, out here in Japan, like the car seats for babies are ridiculous. Like you'll pay like 700-800 bucks for a car seat out here, or a
Yep.
nice stroller. Yep, easy, almost a grand. It's ridiculous how much some of these things are out here in Japan. Is like, oh my god, a backpack, the famous lando seal they call them in here in Japan. The kids use, they're like leather. You'll pay 150-200 bucks for those backpacks, and usually they'll last the kid, through at least elementary school. That same backpack, they're made really well, but
You
expensive.
know, baby clothes are the biggest scam. Like
Yeah.
you are paying full price for half the amount of clothes. Like by size. Like yeah, that's the
Super
power of
crazy.
emotions. Yeah.
Super
So
crazy.
Yeah, or don't buy so many, because as soon as you pull it out for the baby to try it on, they already outgrew it.
They don't even
Outgrown it.
fit it. Yeah.
What we used to do, or my wife, more or less, not me, we used to join communities, like baby communities, and then we just swap the clothes out. As long as they are still
Yep.
fine, you just wash them. So you get every month you get 2 bags. You wear them your kid for 2 months, and then you give them to the next person. So you just literally wash them, give it back to the next person. Then you receive new bags, take it 2 months, and give it to the next person. Literally, that keeps going, keeps going. I think it has stopped now. My little one is 8. But yeah, so up until he was 6 years old, we used to do that. Since he was born,
Yeah,
we just
that
reused the
works.
clothes for 2 months or 3 months. Then he grew out. We just keep getting and giving clothes all the time. We're just the
Yeah.
middlemen using these clothes.
And they don't. And the funny thing is that this clothes they wear it rarely. They don't even wear it frequently in most cases because they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
outgrow
true.
it so
Yeah,
fast.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yo,
You
let me
save a lot
shout
of
out
cash.
to our Down Under brothers, T Bird and Blue Bum. I know Jake Lund's got a fight coming up on the 25th, so
Yeah, he
good luck
sure
to Jake.
does. Yeah, shout out to him, man. That Mayo.
I laugh every time I hear the name of the fighter. because okay,
Why?
don't don't Google what Lund means in Hindi.
Oh,
Ah,
shit.
Anyway, uh, but anyways,
Huh.
But one thing is definitely missing here.
When I think of fight, I think of something else. This is what I think of.
Gravity, gravity.
That's cool.
oh man. Oh, too funny, bro. Too fucking funny.
but,
The physics don't
you,
apply.
All right, all right. What's up, D? My bad.
you know, I wanted to go a bit philosophical, like why this Bollywood thing is like why there are such crazy scenes and everything. Like
Oh, you mean
you
like
know,
the
just saw,
hyperbolicalism of Indian movies?
Yeah.
yeah, like uh,
I think it's great. Personally, I enjoy it. It's a movie.
look.
Street
Personally,
Park
I like personally, I feel it. This is kind of a biased opinion. Like if you see some of the Hollywood films, they have equally irrational scenes, just
100%.
maybe more.
So, so let me
But
ask you this, D. Let me ask you this. Excuse me. Just let me ask you this. Do you think Bollywood or Hollywood is better in terms of special effects? I think Bollywood is better because their scenes, while outlandish, at least make sense in an outlandish way. Hollywood tries to make outlandish shit seem real. You get the
Yeah.
difference?
yeah, like first of all, most of those scenes, even in Hollywood, are processed in by like designers or what you call them, graphic artists in India. So in terms of technology, yeah, Bollywood does have the same power, but that was my what I was going to get at. Why these are things are hyperbolic? Like people watch these movies to get out of reality. They don't
Exactly.
Yep.
want things to be real. Like they
That's
don't
right.
want that there has to be this kind of disconnect to enjoy it fully. Like so
That's right. When I watch
anyways,
TV, I don't watch it to like get anything from it except like let my brain vegetate. It just needs a reset to do nothing. Like that's what I use watching whatever for. I don't, there's no inherent edge to watching anything unless you're deliberately watching something informational. So everything else
It
should
doesn't
just be
mean
entertainment.
that doesn't mean you guys can turn off now. Whoever's watching here, no,
Well, this is informational.
you keep watching. Yeah,
This is informational. So they
yeah.
need to be watching this.
Don't switch off.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm working on some real alpha that they're gonna want to catch next week. So
Nice.
definitely tune in.
uh, yeah, but since we may have like taken a lot of viewers away from the stream, like because they came here for crypto. I wanted to get a bit of crypto. I wanted to talk about that single-sided liquidity providing on
Mm.
Uniswap V3 or how to do limit orders on Uniswap V3. Now I cannot share my screen because my internet connection is really bad. Plus, so I
Or the
would.
balance is too high.
Case of the Mondays.
Yes, I have a wallet for him. Uh, if somebody can just go how to do this, like this is unit swap v3. Just click on pool. I don't think you need even to. So here you start with a new position on the right,
Yep.
and then select. Now it is already ETH has been selected, and other side. So you can select our favorite token, which is Hex. So again, to be sure, you have to now. Luckily, they start showing the logo, etc. But ideally, you should be verifying the Hex contract on Ethereum. You can copy paste the, but
You
yeah.
want to do it?
So, and the other side you have
Go ahead.
USDC. Yeah. So you will have three tiers you can enter the liquidity into. Now they already increased it to 4.
It's 4.
Like they added the 1% and 0.01% for stable coins. But most of the hex liquidity is in the 0.3% pool. So ideally you should be using that for optimum pricing. Yeah. So now if you want to put a buy order, you have to, now by default this is I think in full range, that is kind of equivalent to having a liquidity in Uniswap v3. There is also a button for full range below the graph and the prices. Yeah, it shows that if you are using full liquidity, you are giving up on the what you call capital efficiency of v v3. You are basically using what a v2 acts like. So yes, you have to understand it. You can learn about it by clicking here, but for now, just like a normal user, click I understand, and it will show. But if you want to put a buy order, you have to, you can just type in the amount of USDC, let's say 100. Now this will show you the range in how much. If you want to put both sides of both sided liquidity, it will show you, right? So what you can do is adjust the scroll bars. You can see, just pull it, I think it's to the right, so that yeah.
Like that?
So yeah, and put it like uh, across to the other side of it, like the white line is the
The
price.
current price.
So
Yep.
so you can move it up to one side of the, so move it.
Thereabouts.
So now you see, you have crossed, so you can put single sided liquidity, which is
Ah.
so there, this is, if you put in hex, that is you are going to sell hex. If you move the arrow other way, or rather the range the other way,
That side, the one on the left.
yeah,
You want to push it further? Is that what you're saying?
no, no, you have to push the range to your left.
Push the range to
I
the
think,
left.
or
Like that?
yeah. So this is a sell order in this range of price. That is when your price is in, like, how much is it? 13 cents to 30 cents. Uh, you will be selling hex, and what you sell will be converted to USDC. So, and if you have this kind of a broad range, uh, it 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 is what is called as scaling in your order. So not so a little amount would be, like, when the price rises from 13 cents to, let's say, 15 cents, the amount of hex that is sold will be less in comparison to what it will be sold if it goes to from 15 cents to 20 cents. So that is how you can kind of scale your, so we are basically kind of scaling your sell order. So if you move the entire range to the left side of the white line, that is the price, you will be able to buy hex in when the yeah. So
Like that?
yeah. So what?
Oh, why has it gone back?
No,
Hold on.
no. I think you need to
Do I have to?
um,
Nope.
clear the prices on the left, I think, maybe. Or
Like get rid
you
of it.
can,
Yep.
or you can manually enter the orders, like in.
So when you say manually enter the
More,
order,
yeah,
like here.
that is the minimum and maximum price. Oh,
Oh, you can. Oh, okay. So you can drag the. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Let's just put one here for now.
see, I think this is one of the best demos because there are kind of multiple videos on Uniswap v3 orders, but all of them are like 1 year old, and this feature has been kind of recent, like where you can adjust the liquidity according to. But I guess people must have understood the point. You like, yeah. So
I'm just looking at the
here,
DEX pair. V3 is 96%. So yep.
so yeah, that is where you. So, and why? You, of course, you can put a limit order via 1 inch or matcha, or I don't know whether there are any other aggregators. Probably these two are the most commonly used ones, but for what I call shrimp size or normal retail orders, uh, your best, like, using an aggregator costs more in gas fees. So using this is much easier, or rather more gas efficient, and yeah, while your like exit price is or full order is completed, you are also earning fees or transaction fee, liquidity provider fees. So basically your transaction, if you wait long enough, probably your transaction fees will be compensated by the liquidity provider fees that you earn. So yeah, truly free transaction. Because I know like matcha like advertises free transactions, but actually only the buy orders you put in are free. Um the sell orders are the ones who pay for your buy orders. So not exactly. So if your matcha is good for buying, not for selling. So this is better. I
Anything
but
else you want to add?
yeah, I think this is an excellent demo.
Cool. Finbear saying something about cow swap. I think we touched on it last week.
See, the cow swap, like I said, it's really not for retail users. Yeah, you for these small 100 $300 what you call transactions, you are not really uh, worried about what you call sandwich attacks or high slippage. So, and the other thing is cow swap orders take a lot of time to get executed, and hex time is money. Like so, like every minute you wait, the t-shirt price is working against you. So if you want better transactions, this is one of the options. But for me, I do what a real man does. That is, I do my transaction in a single order with slippage set to infinity on Uniswap. Eh,
Yep. And
So
that's the
guys,
fastest way.
if you found this so guys, if you found this video educational and helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Yeah, you have to do this. Like, if otherwise people don't subscribe. Oh, and I know, like,
Has
I learned from Twitter as well. Like, some people don't like your posts just because it's you. Like, uh, I've seen like people what like and retweet what I have said when somebody else copies it. So yeah, it's okay. I believe in open source. So if you want to copy my like intelligent posts, etc., yeah, you're free to do that. Thank you, DJ Cryptomatic. Yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think about this?
And
This has anybody?
Pardon?
Go ahead, Crypto King. What?
about hexmarket.com, the ability to stake Hedron on this platform. It's like an NFT where they're selling the HSIs. It's like an NFT marketplace, hexmarket.com. Anybody look into
Never
that?
heard of it.
Yeah, they're talking about possibility of staking Hedron on that platform.
See,
Is that coming on
Crypto
Pulse
King,
or now?
I believe it's after one Pulse.
Gotcha.
Crypto King, I have to remind you of the first commandment that thou shall not. Sorry. I would again reiterate the first commandment of Hex: thou shall not speak of any other coin or other strange coin before Hex. And there are going to be thousands of projects coming up on Pulse Chain. When they launch, when we can see the code and verify it ourselves, then we can be able to speak about them. Until then, I prefer not giving them much clout. Because
Well,
basically
Hedron's not
because
a strange
I have
coin.
seen so many people get burned because of this. Like, so yeah.
Well, Hedron's not a strange coin.
For me, it is. It is. Yeah. It is a very strange coin. Like it's given free for staking your head. Why? Like you don't have real need a second incentive for staking. Like, but anyways, uh,
Right. You done?
what
You done?
drama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
What drama?
King, I know you made up your man cave and everything. When can we see a live stream at your man cave?
Well, I think I sent the video to
Yeah, I
Middle
got
Class.
it.
I mean, that's
I
just,
got it.
that's just as good.
Also, yeah. I mean, it looks
Just as good as
amazing.
a live.
Yeah.
Hit.
I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, let's roll
That
that
was
one.
the first one. Yeah, do it later. The other one is did you guys hear about Tangent? I think Tangent wants to take on Richard in Krypton. Sorry, in the Bitcoin
Talk about
conversation.
debate or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the debate about that, and he's preparing already for months or so. I think he's talking about that already 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so. That he's preparing for the Bitcoin debate, and I hope it's going to go ahead. It would be awesome to watch both talking about crypto or Bitcoin in particular. That'll be amazing. I know he was talking about this, I think 2 weeks ago on his stream with some other gentleman. Don't know his name.
I remember that.
But today he tweeted. So he tweeted to Richard direct and said, right, let's have a debate about Bitcoin. That would be awesome to watch if that happens. I hope it happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I had another thing to discuss, and I wanted Wales Only's kind of perspective about it, specifically regarding ratio trading, and which is going to happen when once Pulse launches and before the bridges are open, and especially about p-hex and pulse chain. So what are your thoughts about it? I think you must have spoken about it 1,000 times already since the beginning, but somebody asked me on Twitter, so I would like for you to
Sure.
do it again, or 1,001 time.
Yeah, no problem. It's actually relatively easy because what's happening when you're thinking about trading without a dollar value is that it's just all weighted against pool against pool. So what's going to happen after that point in time is that people are going to just very simply put swap one thing for another, and that is going to drive the ratio between both items. So let's say you have hex versus PLS, right? And one hex is worth 1,000 PLS, for example. Just throwing random numbers out there. Let's say people are dumping PLS to buy hex. Well, that ratio is not going to stay at 1 to 1,000. It's going to change, right? It's going to grow. The hex side is going to grow while the PLS side is going to diminish. Well, the reason that happens is because people want more hex than they want PLS. So the value in the market, the quantity of hex you can get for PLS is going to become smaller over time. And that happens by hex being more valuable in PLS terms, right? So you're just looking at the ratio of these two coins and how they're moving one against the other. And it's really like that simple, but you have to think about it because otherwise it's hard to understand that because you're just used to thinking about things in dollar terms. And that's where it gets confusing, or in fiat terms. And that's where it gets confusing because it's like, okay, well, we're playing barter, basically, right? Two pigs for a cow. Right?
I like wanted to say that no, I won't trade cows for a pig. I find cows are holy, but
Yeah.
no,
Sure.
but that's not the point. Like, so what is your view regarding a normal Joe trying to get more pulse with hex
Yeah.
before the?
What I
Do
tell
you think
them,
it is a good idea?
what I tell people, pre-fork, I tell them if you want to swap for PLS, the best thing to do is consider which is going to be the most liquid coin on the other side. Basically, what Richard said. You know, what coin are you going to be confident in that's going to have value on the other side of the fork? Because it's not going to be Ethereum. It's going to be post chain. It's not going to be the same. So you have to look at things a little differently, right? What's the purpose of ratio trading? It's barter, and that's what you have to realize because there's no dollar value attached to it. So when you're thinking, hey, I want some PLS, you know, very plainly, I tell the person, think about what you want and be good with that decision and make that trade because that's the best thing you can do because you don't even know what the liquidity is going to be like. You don't know anything. So all these things you really have to take into account. It's just, unfortunately, is not as cut and dry as we would like it to be. There's some nuances to it. And it takes a little experience to kind of get that because a spread market is not like trading against a dollar value. People are not thinking about it the same and they're not acting the same either. So a lot of weird things happens on those charts. I mean, that, you know, when I show you guys those spread charts for interest rates, what happens? Well, you see that they're in this range. They very rarely trade out of a range. And when they do, that means something broke. And that's typically how it happens. What's going on, Blue?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Lou.
All right.
Bang bang.
Yeah. My first time on the Asians, I think.
Welcome aboard, Saya.
Wow, welcome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Broken a record again.
So I just wanted to. I think Crypto King mentioned that Hex Market was wanted to do the Hedron staking on Pulse, but they're actually trying to launch it on Ethereum first, and their goal was for like yesterday, I think. But I think they're taking a bit more time to make sure it's all right. There was a really good Twitter space with the guy who's running it and Alex from Hedron, the dev, and there were some really good discussions. Basically, it's going to be like a trading market for HSIs where they have a lot more information about the HSIs. and the fees from that, which I think is like 2.25%, as those fees are divided up into 4 different things, and one of those things goes towards people who have staked their hedron on their platform. And so it's kind of unsure about how much you'll actually get for staking your hedron, because it's unknown how much hedron is going to be, like how many HSIs are going to be traded, and therefore how many fees are going to be derived from that. And part of what their fee will also go to is burning hedron, and then part of it will go to them. I can't remember what the 4th one was, but you can check it out on hexmarket.com, and there's a Telegram group, HexMarket, if people want to read more up about it. Yeah, and then like we always do, like wait for all of these contracts to come out, and there's a Pulse Police team who look through code now for things launching on Pulse. If people have any concerns about that code, you can ask them to have a look at it. And like don't throw your hedron or your hex into anything that you don't fully understand. And I think they wanted to do like you have to stake it for a year as well, and there are heavy penalties if you end stake it within that time. So there's all those things to consider, and I'm not exactly sure on all the details. So obviously do your own research and all that. And I disagree that hedron is just some strange token, D-Raj. I think it's a very interesting one. I'm surprised you haven't kind of like dove in deep into it, being the big brain that you are.
Right on. Appreciate the brief introduction to the new opportunity, Blue Bum. Thank you for
thanks, Blue,
coming on.
Yeah, thank you. And this is technically your second time on HexAsians. We already had you singing in one of the streams.
We played your Italian
Italian song.
Oh, that's
singing.
right. That's right. Awesome. Yo, what the fuck is up with that?
That was awesome.
Yo, he was singing that shit fluently. I was like, oh,
yeah.
This is Blue Bum? What planet is this?
Because that was Day 43 was linking up with the Italian squad, and yeah, that was cool.
I also won the second prize in the Hex Talent Contest.
I remember that. Yeah,
singing that song on my
girlfriend. That song upside down.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I can sing a few songs in other languages actually.
I'm not surprised after seeing that. Let's have the show. You and D duo. Let's do it. The duet.
Yo, Blue Bum.
D-Rat, man. They watch the floor with me.
He's a solo star, right?
I actually have that link clipped as a bookmark, so whenever I need a pick me up, something to make me happy, I watch that clip. Blue Bum.
How about that? Damn. Let's see. You never know what impact you're gonna have on people, and this is the kind of thing people have to understand. Like, yo, we all add value in a weird way, whether you want to believe it or not. You
Absolutely.
just don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do your thing and let yourself shine, and you don't know what kind of effects that has in the world, but it's probably a good one if you're shining.
100%. I mean, if you think about it, everybody has a fan, right? Everybody has fans, period. Doesn't matter who you are. There's people here I love. Next Gen Frank, Middle Class, Crypto King, Blue, D, me, everybody. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and if you're going to be public, people are going to hate you as well. Like, people are going to love you, and people are going to hate you.
100%.
Like, people are going to have their own reactions, that's their thing. They just, they have that reaction.
People project, and that's why you can't take anybody's negative seriously. It's their own problem, not actually yours.
And Richard says this a lot, like, no matter what you do, how good you are, like, people are going to hate you just for the sake of it. Put up a video titled "I love puppies," yet you will get hate.
Fuck you, man.
Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate you. Rightfully so.
There you go. Number one fan right there. Well,
right. Rightfully so.
But again, butting in, like, speaking of songs, like, if you guys saw on Twitter and TikTok, there was this open verse challenge going on about crypto. Oh, I don't want your crypto boy. Did
Oh
you
yeah.
guys see the? Yeah. So I had written a verse in reply, but then I read it like I wrote it while I was down a couple of beers, but then I read it again after in the morning and like uh, yeah,
That's your
Extra
beer.
strong.
Extra
yeah.
coke.
So
Extra strong.
extra strong. So I found those lyrics kind of misogynist, and I've already been like claimed to be one. So I will sing it only edited version, but let me get into the groove later, maybe after some time. So yeah. Mm, and for what is opposite of a fan, I think nemesis would be a good thing to say, but
Just a
I don't
hater.
know.
Opposite of a
Just a
fan's a
hater.
hater. I suppose a hater's a kind
Really?
of fan, though, isn't it? It's like that.
Maybe opposite of a fan would be a tube light.
A what?
Not that sort of fan.
Children of the grave.
A dude light?
Maybe.
Those are my feelings about D.
Yeah. Heater. Yeah. Yeah. Black Swan. Yeah.
Yo.
Nope. Nope.
More like a hater. Close. Close. Close, but not quite.
Ah,
I go with hater. What about you guys? That's the opposite of a fan to me.
Yeah.
A hater is a
Oh,
fan that's mad he's a fan, right?
no. See, we have very intelligent people. Alan Fizemi.
Good point,
Ah,
Marvin. Yeah.
okay.
You are a vacuum.
There you go. That's actually better than what I was saying. Yeah, for sure. Because that's worse.
I was thinking of something really foul, like because a fan blows win, right? So the
Right.
opposite of a blow is a sucker.
Yeah. Vacuum does it. Yeah. That's the cleanest way to
So
put it.
you need to bring the picture of Hexo trying to get that crumb off the
Oh.
mic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't have it.
And we have a new viewer here, WOOP. Oh, nice to have a econ student from Sweden. Nice to have you. It is an
Yes.
excellent idea.
Yes.
Sticker bomb, but be aware that littering and like
Vandalism is what it's
yeah,
called, D-Rock.
vandalism. Yeah, vandalism. Yeah, I forgot.
Vandalism.
But we condone it. Carry on. No, I'm just playing.
Just say it's a public art exhibit.
Just say it's a public service announcement.
Hey, well, I'd be really interested if you asked if you talk to any of your lecturers or tutes, like what they think of could you like explain Hex to them and what they think of it? Like, can they understand it? Or are they more
serious?
just...
Well, no, man.
Yeah, I
These
know. I
people-
mean, that's the thing. You think, nah, they're just probably regurgitators, hey? They just know what they know. And
They really are. You know, I went to college, bro, and I'm never gonna forget those years. It was probably the most frustrating time of my life.
Yeah.
It was such a waste of time.
Yeah, fully, man. How to regurgitate.
Mm-hmm. And hear me out. I did a math degree. That ain't cookie cutter. So that goes to show how bad it is. Really bad.
Man, I did maths for about a week at university, and it was just like,
you got to teach yourself. I taught myself. This is why I don't look at things the way everybody else does, because I look at them correctly. Nobody washes my brain. Wales has his own frame of fucking thought. Most people are letting others dictate how they see and view things. That's what education is really about.
Mm-hmm.
Programming you to think how they want you to think. I mean, look at Wall Street. If Wall Street isn't a freaking clear indication of that, then you got to do more research, because that's what they're trying to turn crypto into. I've been saying it for a year, and I'm going to keep saying it. We're going to fight the fight until we have no other fight to fight, because this space cannot become Wall Street, and that's what they're trying to do. This is why we must call out the food rules. This is why we must put them on Front Street. Have to, because they're informing all these people incorrectly, and they're being put at the front. Oh, well, there you go. Seems like you want to, bro. But that's the whole thing, right? Like, yo, I might be a smart guy, but I'll tell you, when I was in school, then people didn't think I was smart because I didn't think like them. I didn't see the world the way they did. I was already an adult, having conversations with people that were used to having conversations with kids. So they couldn't understand my point of view. They couldn't orientate me correctly. College was difficult for me for that exact reason, because I'm here trying to find something where I can add value in the world, and I wasn't seeing it anywhere. It's non-existent.
Hey Wales, have you come across in any of your research, like the difference in status between a US citizen and a state national, and changing your status to that of a state national?
So a state national is going to be local to the state, literally within the frame you're in. Well, hold on. That doesn't mean you can't punch up, so to speak, right? But you're not on the same level as being a citizen of the country.
Well, all that it means is that you can't vote or go or be in office.
Right.
But what it does mean is that you get out of all that 14th Amendment stuff, which, like, so then, you know, the IRS can't, like, that's all of that sort of extra stuff. Like when they abolished slavery.
Yeah, because you're not known as a U.S. taxpayer per the code.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
In fact, when I'm doing what I do at work, there has to be a distinction made between a U.S. taxpayer and a non-U.S. taxpayer, because it matters. Because the whole purpose of everything in the financial system as it stands is to catch every tax cent. And this is why they want to know if you're if you're a U.S. citizen, if you're making money abroad. And here's the thing: you don't have to tell them anything. People forfeit that information willingly and then expose themselves, just like they do with crypto. Same thing. What they do is they get you to snitch on yourself. This is what they do, because people
through your
silence.
Through your silence, you acquiesce. Like if you don't make a declaration, approval. David.
Yeah, tacit approval, right? Manufacturing consent, in short.
Yep.
Masters of that. And here's the thing. You know, how do we educate people that are honestly coming in with no basis of reference? You know, everybody isn't coming from Wall Street. Everybody isn't coming from an engineering background. Everybody isn't coming from a computer background. You know, a lot of people come in here not knowing anything quantitative whatsoever. So it's like, how do you onboard all these different layers of understanding or levels of understanding? You got to find a way to be able to communicate with people, right? And that's by hitting the emotional strings or plucking the emotional strings. Now, how I like to do it, which is, I think, boilerplate for pretty much anybody that you run into, especially a normie, I hit on the cost of living. Everybody feels that. Everybody feels that. I don't care if they're rich or poor. Everybody feels that. Everybody can have a conversation about the cost of living, especially if they're poor, because everybody is feeling that. This is the prime opportunity. Right now is the time to be onboarding human beings. Because guess what? Outside of this little thing we're doing right here in the internet, the rest of the world is fucking feeling nothing but pain. And they're looking for an opportunity to relieve that pain. The only opportunity is Hex, PLS, and PLSX. That is it. And everything tied to it. That's a real statement. Why? Why is that? Why can I make such a crazy, like, off the wall statement? You got to have some confidence, right, about what you're saying to make that statement. I'm basically telling you that RH products are where you have to be. But what the interesting thing is that RAs don't actually have anything to do with it. It's just the way the things are made. He makes them correctly. And when you rely on math and math alone, you don't get Terra Lunas. You don't get rug pulls. You don't get all this nonsense that you see all over the rest of the space. And this is what people do not want to understand. Yeah, please hop.
Yeah, Richard's new favorite target is Mashinsky and Celsius.
Nice.
Well, look, I talked about Celsius as soon as I started streaming. Motherfuckers, I told everybody about that a year ago. So whoever got wrecked there, hey, man, that's your own fault. Shit was a security from day one. You were told, and you didn't listen. Suffer the consequences of your inactions, just like you do of your actions. And crypto is a place. It's a place right now where this is the front of the information war, and people don't want to realize that. If you don't realize what happened in the last 2 years and what's happening now, then you're part of the problem. They're trying to take every facet of freedom out of your control. Period.
The whole stable coin thing, I see there's such a simple solution to it. It's like, if you really want to hold like the US dollar or whatever, just bloody like go to an exchange and swap it for actual US dollars and put that in your bank account. Done.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, Blue. As easy as that sounds, that's the problem. They don't want that. And by they, I mean the actual banking system. They don't want competition. And we have to understand that. Like, people are here moving. Like, if this is some regular business, we're not selling baby strollers here. This is cryptocurrency. We're literally threatening the standing of the slavery system. This is what we are doing every day when we come out here and talk about this stuff and stream. Period. Because we specifically, as Hexicans, are not involved in the slave system. We are saying, no, we're exiting that because we don't care about centralized exchanges. We don't care about middlemen. In fact, we're trying to replicate them to do our own thing so we can have our way of doing things, because they're just trying to rape you every which way you turn. That's all they're trying to do. They're not trying to add value to your life. Since when? And they think that they're going to be able to just walk into the crypto space and just take over. And this is what people don't understand. That's what they honestly think. Like the point to what Crypto King mentioned earlier. That individual thought he was in cryptocurrency, but he doesn't own any crypto at all. He just has something that he thinks is crypto on PayPal. That's not crypto. He can't even send that to an address. Right?
Yeah, and neither are stable coins.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not crypto. That's right. Not at all. Middleman all the way around.
Yeah, the thing is, from my understanding is, stables were invented in the era of Bitcoin, where transactions used to take an hour, and in that 1 hour, the values of your coin could go haywire, and like they still do. Like within an hour, you could be down 50%.
100%.
So in order to transact and have that stable value, they invented stable coins. But now we don't really need it. Like you can directly transfer amounts within seconds. So, and more so when Pulse Chain comes out. So really, you don't need stable coins. The only other thing would be using decentralized exchanges for trading, which is, traders are going to trade, so you cannot really stop.
That's funny. But again,
I think it's good for him. Like,
all about that math, guys. This is why things fail. In cryptocurrency, things fail when the tenets of cryptocurrency are not respected. That's why Solana's always down. That's why Polymatic, or whatever that crap is called, never works, etc., etc., etc. We got a laundry list, a shopping list, a Schindler's list of everything that gets wrecked in this space.
And if anything, if there weren't stable coins and you just had to go back through the exchange into actual, the actual dollar or whatever, that's just going to pump crypto because people aren't going to go back there as much.
Nope. They're not. That's right. And that's what people don't understand. The more we keep acquiescing to the freaking status quo, the weaker our position gets as a space that should be taken seriously. And that's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, something that I mean, I know Richard and even Wales and others have talked about the threat of centralized exchanges, the recent changing of the Coinbase terms of service, or whatever you want to call it, where their bankruptcy rules can take possession of coins that are held by that piece of shit, that under bankruptcy they'll just take your shit. It's theirs. You gave it to them. So I want to see if we could do something like bank transfer day during the financial collapse. What was that? 09 or 13?
2008.
Yeah, where everybody was getting out of these mega banks and going into like credit unions. Well, I'm calling this one Coins Transfer Day, where you're going to transfer your coins out of centralized exchanges, especially Coinbase, and put them on a hardware wallet or a DEX that is, that we, trust. So Coins Transfer Day.
Yeah, I am already trying to get people to like get their Ethereum and ERC20s on their the so-called self-custodial wallet, so that they can get the airdrop. It's going to be a good start. And I think, circling back to the point, when Pulse launches and people are ratio trading, maybe people will realize that, yeah, you really don't need stable coins to be doing trades on exchange, like decentralized exchanges. So
I mean,
yeah, that also reminded me of another point, that regarding trading your PHEX for Pulse or PulseX. Uh, Another thing is that it is a tool for balancing your portfolio. Um, if you think you need more Pulse in your portfolio than you have Hex, then sure, you can go ahead. One of the best things you can do is probably provide liquidity in one of those in the pair, like PHEX Pulse or PLSX. That way, as the price moves, your portfolio kind of automatically gets balanced while you're earning fees, and probably you will also earn some incentive token, but I think you will have to stake your LP tokens to earn those incentive tokens, like what we are doing. If you haven't tried the testnet version, please do that already. You will learn. So yeah, it's a kind of a
yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. Like, but it's going to be very short. Like, all it takes is like someone to bridge over some ETH or some wrapped Pulse or whatever, and then we'll know the USD value. And or if some exchange lists Pulse, then immediately we'll know the USD.
Oh, isn't
value.
some exchange supposedly listing Pulse?
Yeah, there's
I forgot
exactly. They're apparently they're running and validating nodes of some big exchange, and so I mean, I've got no idea, but like as soon as that happens, and we have that reference to USD value, you know everything, because everything will then be able you'll be able to work out the USD value of everything, and so it's going to happen super quick, and I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Let me ask you a question, Blue. Let me ask you, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't want you to lose your frame of thought. But what do you think people's perception is of having to trade on Ethereum? Because people feel like they have to trade on Ethereum, just like they feel like they have to trade on BSC. That's like my perception of it at this point in time.
I'm not sure what you mean. What do you mean they have to trade?
Like they wish they didn't have to trade on Ethereum because the fees are ridiculous.
The fees. Yeah. Well, it's that double-edged sword. That's where all the value is, and that's where the users
Yeah.
are. And that's why it's so expensive, hey. And so you either eat those fees or you don't. I think people are probably make a lot less trades because of the fees. Like I know when I went on to Mavic when that first came out,
Yeah.
all of a
Remember
sudden
that.
I was throwing liquidity over here and there, and like
Yeah, a
changed
lot
my
of people
mind
were.
5 minutes later, and I
Yep.
did that and that and that because I didn't give. There's no
No
cost
fees.
of doing
Yeah.
it.
No cost of
Yeah.
doing it. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's important for people to understand because the same thing is going to happen in post chain, and this is why you got to be deliberate and intentional when you make these moves, because you don't know how things are going to develop over here. And now this is a big experiment in a lot of ways. Now, I gotta say, I don't think it's really that much of an experiment because of the way everything is lining up, right? Like it's super positive. Like everything that's happening right now is super positive for post chain launch. Period. Now, whether Ethereum and everything on Ethereum is dumping or not is irrelevant because nobody doesn't like free money, especially cheap cost transactions. So once people figure out that's what's going on over here, sentiment might change significantly because now people are going to be incentivized to look here. Nobody's ever been incentivized to look here before. Think about it. Hex alone is not enough because people cannot understand it on the surface. So it makes it difficult to attract people. It's not as shiny as a pulse chain, which is super simple to understand. It's just a fucking another layer one, like big whoop. It's
Yeah, with
not
all the blood
it's-
on
yeah.
with all the blood on the streets, it's just gonna make post chains the new safe haven to get stuff done, and that's what's gonna give the
done. That's right.
Danger
that's
though.
what's gonna open it up.
The danger is though that when you have like the thing that really shoots yourself in the foot is your own human psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've done a trade and all of a sudden it's losing, or you're not getting it's not going the way you thought it was, and then you're like, "Fuck, I've got to get that money back," and so you quickly go out of it. And when like in a way that the high fees on Ethereum were a bit of a blessing because it made you stop and really think about what you wanted to do. But when you have this like market which is going to have so much velocity, and you don't have to think too much about those trades, there's a danger that your human psychology comes in and stuffs you up again, hey? More of a danger.
Yeah, trading, you need, like, I know everybody is like, don't trade, but it's a dirty job, but somebody has to do it. And it's like not for everyone. Like, you need a lot of patience, and like, so yeah, you have to overcome these challenges. Like, when revenge trading is one of the worst thing. Like, you see like you're losing a trade and you just want to make up that money, so you add on to your position. It's like a poker game kind of thing. It's not for everyone.
And speaking about
Like,
speaking about the gambling, isn't FreePulse.io or FreePulse.com opening up this?
Yeah, they are.
What is it, like a casino or something?
Yeah,
like
something
a gambling, gambling thing on Pulse chain. Literally, you can get your free Pulse. You can get up to $200 free Pulse per hour if you go there. Just put your MetaMask in there and press the button.
Yep.
And you get some Pulse every hour. You can mint some Pulse for free. And then you also can lose it on one of the machines if you really want to, or some of the games or something like this.
I mean, Bitcoin used to do that like all over the place, hey? You get
Right.
faucets, and then they were encouraging those dice games and all that kind of stuff where you just
similar to that, I believe, yeah.
You think about how much people are playing for now in today's prices compared to like what they were getting back then and what they were gambling back then. It's crazy.
Yep.
But it's good onboarding. I mean, if you know somebody who doesn't have any Pulse, you just send him to the site FreePulse.io and you let him press the button, make him a MetaMask, let him press the button, and he gets, I don't know, $100 of pulse or every hour, or $10 or $5 or $7 or $1, whatever it is. He gets free pulse every hour. So if you sit for 10 hours, you can just make some money just on pulse and just leave it.
Yeah, I guess as an onboarding
It's
tool,
free.
it gets people to really actually use it. Hey,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's sensible. It's sensible to a degree because people love that, right? It's about calling people to this to what we're doing here, and it's easier to get them to want to make money, right, than it is to goat them into being responsible stewards of their fucking finances, right? I mean, clearly that's a whole lot easier. This is why betting is huge, sports gambling is huge worldwide, right? All these things like stock trading, that shit is huge worldwide. People of all ilks do it. And it's because people are interested in making money, but they just don't really know how to go about it. And then there's people that are too afraid to even try. Like you got, two ends of the spectrum, and we need to try to address them all, because if we don't, a lot of people are going to get left behind. And we're trying to not let that be a thing. And it's difficult. It's very difficult because we're so early. We're so early.
And the thing is, if they don't do it here, they are going to find a way to gamble somewhere else.
That's a fact.
It's rather much better they do it here in a safer environment, and maybe we can reach out to them and stop them from gambling altogether. But,
Sounds right.
Going back to what I was thinking before about stable coins, was that the real issue is that we use the US dollar as our unit of account. That's how we measure everything. It's like our centimeters or our inches.
Yeah, it's just a standard of measurement. It's just a unit of measurement.
And I've been really struggling to imagine how that, like, I mean, they're going to print and print and print, and they're going to like destroy the US dollar. We'll probably see huge inflation. Prices fluctuate. There has to be a point where it becomes so difficult to use as that unit of account. But it's like, what does it cross over to? How do people start using at a mass level or a mass consensus level some other kind of unit? That's what I find tricky to imagine.
It's going to be Chinese yen.
The Indian rupee. Nobody trusts China.
Indian.
The Indian rupee. Everybody likes Indians, and they are trustworthy. So, and we already have our representative in the White House. So, the next big thing is going to be the Indian rupee. Mark my word, we have already planned it out for 2024. It's going to be the.
I'm gonna get a heart attack and I need a heart transplant, so not happening. And that's how I get my heart.
Yeah. See, India has already surpassed all levels in medical science. So
That's cinematic storytelling.
I don't think we want to use another fiat currency as a unit of account. That's what we need to get away from.
100%. We need to go towards math and never look back, and find a way to ensure that humans can never fucking not do that, can ever go back, because that is exactly what helps us to fail every time. Every time we deviate from math, we end up failing as a society.
You think it'll be hearts at some point?
We're gonna try to make it that.
Richard,
This is what a lot of the things I'm working on are about. Literally, it's about injecting X into the real world. This is not a game. This is what's really going on.
By hearts, do you mean hex hearts, right?
Yeah,
some
right.
unit
That's
of
the-
yeah.
No Squid Game here, Diddy.
Otherwise, I know a few doctors in India, I can give you best rate on heart.
Give you best price.
Oh, shit.
And shout out to Frosty and his efforts with along the lines of what Wells is talking about of doing is injecting hex into all aspects of South America and hopefully soon to be the West, US, Canada, everywhere else.
Everybody plays their role, man. I'm just doing mine up here. So shout out to everybody that's doing what they're supposed to be doing. There is no role sheet here. Just do what you do.
I mean, I watched. I listened to your stream. Was it this week or last weekend? With Kinetic and everybody. You guys working in the background for so many products that is just incredible. It's a shame. It's currently only for American. I mean, if it would have been international, you would get more customers. But I'm quite sure it's going to get to the point at some stage.
Yeah, it has to, because this is all the things that we're doing. They're for Hexicans. They're for us to use, because how are we going to win as a community? We're going to win by standing together. Period. It's really that simple, right? I mean, anytime that we decide to do something, we collectively as a unit, we do it and execute in record time, right? I mean, it's just the way it works when we want to tackle something. And I think the most recent example is the NASCAR event. Like, everybody just boom, made that shit happen in a week. Done. No problem solved, And why did it happen like that? Because we collectively wanted to do it. Simple. And everybody doesn't even have to participate. It's just, a small mass. And that's all it takes. Everybody has their own interests. So everybody can do their own thing. It doesn't have to be this whole, who's doing what now? Like, this is not that. You do whatever you want. Mind your business otherwise if you don't like what the other person is doing. It's that simple.
Yeah, and just think about the US road trip, the road tour. Look how many new personalities we have within the community that just, they found that workshop and then they took it from there, Shout out to them.
Yeah, everybody got to just do their thing.
Word of mouth is the best way of advertising. And
You kind of ugly.
No, he muted himself.
I don't know what's happening, but yeah, the three best forms of advertisement is what I was told is television, telephone, and telewoman. So yeah, and the thing is, when you are trying to get a financial decision, you have to talk to the decision maker, and in most of the households, it is the female who gets to make those decisions. That's why if you try it with your friend, most of the time he or she will say, I will talk to my wife before I can invest. So yeah,
No, that's the excuse to walk away every time.
Yep.
Yeah, so don't give him an excuse, like talk to his the minister of the home minister of finance.
Yeah,
but definitely word of mouth is probably the most powerful, because that's when people become emotionally connected to
That's
something.
right. That's what I've been trying to tell people this whole time. This whole idea that we need this stupid mass marketing effort to get Hex out there is misplaced. That's not what's going to bring people to respect Hex for what it is and treat it accordingly. It's just going to give us a pump, then a dump. That is all. Period. Because that's what you see everywhere else.
I like the way the Twitter Spaces are really taking form, where they title the space where it's not so much Hex centric or post chain centric. It'll be like Crypto After Dark or something like that. So you'll have all these people that'll jump onto that space and they're like, crypto, and of course the hosts and all that are Hexicans, and eventually they're gonna get the person to hear about Hex or post chain. but that community is really growing really big, and it's quite fun if you take part in those Twitter spaces. They're really powerful.
Sounds good. Hey, talking about onboarding, I'm just going to share a story. I shared this with Wales and probably a couple of other people privately, but I don't think it's too big of a problem to kind of dox myself or anything along those lines. But I think it's very interesting, and I think it's a very strange story, Wales. I don't know if you remember what I told you in private.
I think I do.
Yeah, so this is about tarot card readings.
I do
Yep.
specifically.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'll show you the cards. I don't know if anyone in the chat or even anyone in this room is familiar with these sort of cards. I mean, I don't pay any attention to these things because to me it's just hocus pocus, right? Blue, did you have any experience yourself with these?
Oh, I've had not these ones specifically. I've had a few tarot card readings in my day. I've had a few girlfriends who have been in tarot, but
Yeah, it's a female.
Doesn't work. I mean, I'm guessing you kind of see what you want to see, and you know, obviously, whoever's reading you is already slightly tainted.
well, that's
So
part
you
of
kinda
it. That's part of it, isn't it? It's not about
Okay.
predicting anything. It's about like gaining interpretation through getting more perspective about things, gaining awareness of it.
This one's a bit interesting. The only reason why I want to share it is because to me, like, you know, I don't believe in any of that thing, but the results are pretty shocking to me. So I will go through them with you. So just on a very top level. So this is a friend of my wife who's an ex-colleague. She works in banking and finance. And for some reason, you know, COVID, whatever, right? She's decided to take up a hobby. So she's decided to learn to do this. She's only done this maybe 2 months, so she's very new. So what she was trying to do, she was trying to practice on someone, so someone who is not close to her, or if anything, so being not close to the person or know anything about the person as intimately as say your partners or your neighbors or whatever, gives it some credence, and it gives you a good practice as well to read the cards and, you know, interpret the cards the way you interpret them, and then you see whether or not that resonates with, you know, whoever's, you know, obviously giving you the command to draw the card. So this is done completely remotely. This is just done on FaceTime or something like that, right? So I will share this.
Wow, that's kind of crazy, right? Because then there's like no, like I would always presume that these people are like pulling tricks or pulling stunts or something, right? Because you don't know. But if it's being done remotely, that's
exactly,
a whole nother...
and that's why I paid attention as well. So, which is very interesting. So I will. So I don't know if you guys know anything about tarot cards. So upside down and right side up has two different meanings, completely different meanings. So top level is we're going to do, or rather, she did 3 draws. So this is the first draw. I will explain to you what it means. Now, in saying that, everyone's interpretation is a bit different. So some people read from left to right, you know, or a certain order or something along those lines. But so this person's practicing, and she didn't read it in any specific order, but I will just go through it very briefly. So my wife gave her a trick question. My wife says, "Would you?" Oh, okay. She tells the reader, says, "Okay, give me a question, shoot." And he goes, "Would I be able to get a job by the end of this month or this year?" That's the question. So she drew 5 of these cards. On the top right hand side, I will start. So top right hand side is a lover's card, which just means that you are actually in a relationship. That's all it means, and it's the right side up or upside. I actually don't know what the exact meaning if it's upside down or whatever, but you can look that up on your own. But long story short, so I will just give a quick summary. So the tower is on the so you got the tower, you've got the priestess facing upwards, and this is the strength card is upside down, and this is called the emperor. This is upside down as well, and well, the lever's upside is right side up. So her reading was quite simple. He says you're having some sort of issue with communication with your partner or your husband in this case. So that's where the tower card comes in. If it's right side up, this is what it reads. So it's why she said husband is because of the lovers card. So that means there is an open relationship somewhere. So in this case, pretty common sense. You know, you're at a certain age, you're probably married with kids, blah, blah, whatever. right? So she read it that way. And now when she read the upside down strength card, which is this one, it says, which basically means you have not put in any effort whatsoever. Interesting. And then you get the upside down emperor. These two are connected somehow. Okay. And then the of course I just explained the Lovers card. So my wife didn't respond to anything. She goes, okay, but long story short, it is spot on. She has actually never tried. It was a trick question. And then because she's new, or rather, I won't say she's too new, but you know, she gets a couple of examples of these sort of reads. So she asked my wife, "Are you asking me this like a trick question or something? Because I can tell from the cards you don't put in any effort whatsoever, and your husband's clearly not supportive." And then she goes, her mind just blew up into pieces. Like, oh my god, okay. So that's where her attention was, obviously, but no other information was shared. So she went on to proceed with the next card, the next draw. Right. So I will bring up the next card. Sorry, where's the next card? There we go. Okay. Notice how the Lovers card's still on the top right hand side. So there's if I'm not mistaken, there's like 78 cards in the deck. What are the odds of drawing the same card pertaining to your current situation? Like, that's even harder than a deck of cards of 52. So we've got the Lovers card there. Again, there's an open relationship, blah, blah, blah. Top left-hand side is an upside-down Emperor again. Upside-down Magician. The Tower exists again, which is very odd. So when the Tower exists, which means there's some kind of communication breakdown. And you have something called the, what's this called again? This is called Temperance, whatever that means. And the reading goes, sorry, I should actually say what the question was. So of course, I'm renting at the moment, and my wife's, immediate goal is to buy a house. So her question, a direct question rather, to the reader is, will I be able to get my ideal house? Now, when she got this reading, first things first, she read the same thing, communication breakdown. So it says you and your partner kind of need to sit down and have, the exact same ideas. Clearly, you both don't have the exact same ideas. So, okay, so that was also shocking to me, because that's true, because I did had a tiff with my wife on, a couple of amenities that we should have. And, and she goes, yeah, you don't need that, that sort of thing. And I go, no, we want that. Okay. Anyway, Magician is upside down, so that one's in the middle. That one says, wait, hang on, let me read this. Okay. You know what you want. So from my wife's perspective, my wife knows what she wants, but she's not willing to budge to get it her way, which is also true, which is very odd. So I'm the weaker one, which is correct in this case, because, we all, your wife's happy, you're happy, right? And so if I can't remember what the Emperor upside down is, but long story short, Emperor upside down means you're not supportive. There you go. Okay. Temperance, I'm not 100% what the Temperance is, but the interpretation is same thing. You need to come together, fix your issues, come together, make a decision. So which is also spot on. So this question is real, and she got kind of the response that she was after, and it was fitting to whatever the current situation is. Now, the final draw is this one right here. Now, notice again, the Lovers card is down at the bottom again. So 3 draws, what are the odds you're in a relationship? Someone's there. There you go. So now the question for this is, she's asking a very direct question also again. She says, how would my husband's financial outlook look like? That's, no time frame whatsoever, but she just, she's asking a very direct question. So, you should probably get a very direct answer. So the reader in this case says that, okay, so I did forget to read the card again. So you got Strength upside down one more time, the Chariot upside down, Temperance is upside down, but Justice seems to be up. Okay, so the upside down cards generally are cards that are negative. They're usually of a negative connotation when they're upside down. Now, this is funny. So she's the Chariot being upside down means a person that doesn't have or rather not driven from a career perspective or something like that, or something along those lines of say a business or something like that. An upside down chariot usually means like you're just not driven. There's no drive. It's like you just do whatever, right? Then sorry, just let me have a quick read on the notes again. Okay, so this one's a bit odd. So justice is right side up. So this means that when it comes to financial dealings, it's usually, it has a very fair or a very honest sort of transaction that has occurred in the past or is going to occur. It's currently happening at the moment, which is interesting. Let's have a read. What was the other one again? Okay. So the other two upside downs, the upside down strength and the upside down temperance, when the reader read together is your expenses are irresponsibly high. That's what she said. But for some reason, when read together with the justice part, meaning there is something behind that sustaining it. I don't know what it is. So first things, so your husband, so then she go to ask, she says, is your husband actually even working at all? And of course, and her response is no. So how the fuck does the card knows that, like I said, we don't know anything at all. She doesn't know anything about us or whatever we're doing. And she said the correct things, which is exactly what's happening. So that's very uncanny. So again, with uncontrolled spending, your husband's not driven. I don't know how you're sustaining it, but you're sustaining it, and your relationship's kind of upside down. So, yep. So So she got really interested. She says, "I've never seen anything." So she took a photo of this card and sent it to her teacher. And the teacher read the same thing and had the exact same reading as well, and goes, "This is very odd. Like, how's this guy, doing what he's doing? That's not possible." And then of course my wife says, "Okay, we'll tell you now, because since we've done through you know that there's some holes somewhere, right?" So my wife says, "Oh, we're in crypto and we're in this thing called Hex, blah blah blah," and goes, "Tell me more about it." He says, "Because I work in banking, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as something that will give you that sort of return, that sort of thing." So she got it really.
Sounds familiar, does it not? That's right.
Yep. And that's the end of that. End of storytelling. There you go. And she's
So,
on board now.
long story short,
You onboarded your tarot reader.
you need to stop
Yeah.
dumping. So basically, you need to stop dumping hex to sustain your life.
Get out of here. That's not funny.
That was funny, bro. But that's crazy, right? Think about that.
It is
all
crazy,
that
yeah.
she knew, and she ended up being like, "Okay, you need to tell me what the hell you're doing."
You just need to tell me, because I don't know. I'm stuck in a rut. I work in banking, and that sort of shit doesn't exist. So what are we doing now? What are we talking about?
And I keep trying to tell you guys. People don't want to believe me. By the time people figure out what the hell's going on, everybody on this stream is gonna be millionaire or better. Period.
Bang bang.
Ironically, when I was onboarding heaps of people, and at one stage I was hired by a company in Australia to onboard people, and I was onboarding them onto Hex and Pulse, and twice I got to explain Hex to ex-CTOs, ex-CFOs, chief financial officers.
Financial officers, right? Nice.
And they were by far the hardest to explain it to.
That's right.
They were, because they were so
wrap their head around it.
What they knew.
Yeah, they can't wrap their head around it.
They could not wrap their head around it. Like, people who were not financially literate were way more easier. Yeah. They got it so much more quickly.
It's not hard, man. It's not hard. And this is why I tell people, you have to understand who you are talking to. Just because somebody's on Wall Street doesn't mean they're mean. It's just not the case. Everybody isn't built the same. Everybody doesn't have the same level of interest. A lot of people, just like in any other industry, they're just working. They're just employees. They don't actually care about their job. They're just getting up, going to work, going home, just like every other regular person. So, you got to understand the difference in that frame of mind. And that's why when I tried to onboard my boss, I didn't broach the subject again, because I know what he found, because I know how he thinks. And that's why I only touched it one time, because he didn't let me finish explaining it. He just went about his way and did a Google search, because that's how he works. And
Well,
that was
Wells, Ye Page in the chat says interested to hear Wells Only's thoughts on Hedron, and we got Blue Bum, one of the Hedron experts as well, on board. So can you give him a little hit?
Sure. I mean, it's tied to T-shares. What more do you need to know? It's clearly undervalued. Nobody's even talking about it. Might be a good idea to pick some up. Usually when nobody's looking at something, that's the best time to do something with it. Pro tip.
The thing that I like the most about it is the ability to basically gift hex stakes to either family members or on boards or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, because that's what I recently did. I think I explained last show. My sister, her son wanted hex, and I said, yeah, ask your mama, if you get some hex, and she said no. So just last week or a couple weeks ago, I just said, what, screw it. I made there's 4 of them, so the son and 3 sisters. So I just said, screw it. I made them a 5,000 hex each stake for 5555 HSI stakes for each of them. So yeah, that's what I like about Hedron.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you get for free for having a hex stake. So, it's like an extra reason to stake your hex. And then it's a real long-term hold from my perspective. Like, this is the moment of highest inflation for Hedron. And so that's why it's so cheap, but also why it's so volatile and, well, in the last months or whatever. It's a long-term hold, and it just makes, like, over time, as those weak hands get shaken out and the cost of a T-share goes up in terms of hex and goes up in terms of US dollar, like, we're going to be talking about B shares soon. And then at some stage, we're going to be talking about M shares. And did you manage to get an M share? And how many M shares did you get? And by that stage, Hedron is going to be much, much harder to mint. And so that's where the value comes from. So it's a super long-term kind of like
It's
thing.
not really that long-term.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe it's quicker
really
than
near-term, like maybe 2-3 years.
It might be that quick, Like, what I find interesting now is, like, on the 28th of May, which is like 12 days away, if a whale made a HSI on day 1 and they borrowed on it on that day, and now they're letting it bleed out, so that the 90-day thing, there's about 40 of them at the moment, which look like they're going to bleed out around the 28th or maybe just after or something like that. And as soon as those auctions start happening, you are highly incentivized to spend that Hedron on buying those HSI stakes, because you might be able to get free hex stakes with this free Hedron. And auctions are incredibly sticky. Like, we saw that just with when we did the test net. People love to win an auction. And so people are going to be bidding for these things. And I think there are some whales who have put them up to get those Hedron burnt out of the system. And so it's not people who like stuffed up and borrowed and didn't pay it back. This is whale games. These auctions will be whale games initially.
Right.
And so it's just a very interesting gamification tactic. And you don't have to bid for them. You can just still hold your Hedron. You don't have to put any hex stakes up to try to flush it out of the system. Although maybe it's something to think about if you are a whale. And like, you could just sit back with Hedron, and if you've got the patience and like are not a trade tard, you just hold on to the stuff for years and see what happens.
And if I can mention, if it's the first time we're hearing about Hedron, Currently, it's sitting at a 3x multiplier if you to claim on your stakes, your active hex stakes, and it drops to 2x in 8 hours and 56 minutes. It goes to a 2x multiplier for another 10 days. So, hedron.pro to learn all about it.
Yeah, go to the Telegram chat, and there's a pasta there. Type in exclamation pasta, all one, no spaces, and you'll get all sorts of calls that you can find to read up more about it. And that's probably the best. And you can ask questions, or sometimes the chat's going. You can ask, voice questions, whatever. That's probably the best place to find out about it.
Just remember, it's math too. Don't forget about that. That's a pretty important part.
Yeah, it seems to be the most complex thing. Like people find it hard to understand hex sometimes. That's a hurdle. And Hedron is just like, look, because you need to understand hex to understand Hedron. Hedron is extra complicated. Like Maxi is nice and simple for people who understand hex.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. My strategy is simple. Just mint Hedron, dump it, buy more hex, and stake it for longer.
Yeah.
But what if you weren't getting the full freight of what you were supposed to be getting with your Hedron?
It doesn't matter. I got my Hedron for free, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Interesting notion.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad tactic, you know what I mean? If you turn it into a hex stake, you're going to be getting more Hedron in the future,
Yeah.
I mean, you're still getting it back.
Not as much.
Yeah,
but that's the game.
But pointing out the other thing, like regarding Maxi, I don't know why people don't understand how the premium should work. It's like people are really overpaying it, which kind of hurts me. Like, yes, it's like, Maxi should be selling at a premium versus Hex, but 2x is like almost like 70% premium is a bit too much, according to me. See,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
I did some.
At some stage, that bubble is going to have to burst, but that bubble might take until year 10 of the maxi stake before that bubble bursts. Like it might take a long time, because having that ability to have a maxed out hex stake that you're earning all that hex on and the Hedron on every day, and you've got the liquidity, so you can just sell a little bit if you want. Like that's what people are paying for, I think.
You have to pay a premium for that extra 10% you get due to the volume bonus or bigger space beta bonus and the earlier share rate and the bonus Hedron because it was minted during the 4x phase. Yes, I get that, but it's still like I did some math, like because of the you are paying 6,990 maxi for is equivalent to 1 T share, and that much is around 10 or 11,000 hex, which if you stake for 5 like the maximum length 5,000.
But you can't touch. If you do that, but if you do that, you can't
get
touch
more T shares.
Yeah, but you can't touch it for 15 years.
Yeah, but you can have a HSI which you can trade separately.
Well, that's another
and
option.
you can
That's another option.
and you can borrow against it using Hedron.
Yeah,
So you are,
you have
and
options.
the thing is, now if you are minting an HSI, there is this period after the Maxi's stake ends. The what you call yield that you would be earning after that would be more, because a huge chunk of like T-shares will be taken off the market. So you might be, and of course it is, what if like there is some super whale or shark that gets hacked and we have another payday after the maxi stake is over. Like you cannot predict that, but or hope it doesn't happen, but the yield after that period is not exactly known. So really, are you getting that 10% bonus? So
What?
I would suggest, did you get my point? I don't
No, I
like,
don't get that last point. Like, if you've got a maxi,
so
then if there's a massive AES, then you'll.
so
I mean, that maxi
I
is
think,
going to be able to be redeemed for that hex at some point anyway.
no, the thing is, the maxi stake ends on day, let's say something 6,000 for a. So if you stake now for Quattro Cinco, then your
Ah.
hex stake will end on day 6,080, let's say. So those 80 days, how much yield you will be earning,
Yeah,
we
but that's with
don't
any
know.
stake. That's with any stake. And the other thing is the
Yeah,
maxi, you're kind of buying shares that are locked in at the hex share rate when the maxi's thing was staked. Whereas if you're doing it now, the hex share rate has gone up, so you get less shares in that
but
sense. But like, yeah, like I mean, that's pretty edge case.
so yeah, my point is, these calculations are complex, and what I'm saying is people are overpaying for maxi. Eh, so up to you, if you want to pay that extra premium. Yeah, okay, but at some point of time it will reach that what you call, I think, uh, will this is contango, right? That is another thing difficult to explain, but at some point they will be redeemable for whatever, three around 3 hex per maxi, 3 or 4. So
Or maybe 5 or
yeah,
6.
the price will move in that direction, but at what I'm saying is, at current rate it is too much. So, and by the way, I minted my maxi, so I'm not trying to FUD my own bags.
And so, have
But
you sold any at the premium?
no, why? Why would I?
So you're doing the exact behavior that you're not understanding.
Like, I like see, I minted my maxi because it's like I'm planning to just claim on the when they come out. I'm not planning to like be trading them. Yeah, so if you want to pay that premium, yes, there should be a premium, but currently it is too much. I am just giving my advice. Take it and go. My personal opinions. I don't know if there are many people.
Take it and go.
Take it and go.
But also, the Black Swan is right. There will be more maxis coming out and more maxi stakes coming out in the future. I don't believe that is the first and the last one.
No,
They make another one in next year or in 2 years' time, or maybe in 5 years' time. They definitely have another one. It was
And I
such a
think-
success.
Yeah, and I think Dipcatcher has even other ideas brewing as well.
We'll
Like
see.
Hedron and Maxi are just Hex was the first. Hex set up the game board. Hedron was the first piece that was put on the game board that changed things a little bit. Maxi is another piece on the game board, but we're just at the start of this game. Like, there's going to be other things that people think of for ways to build on all of this stuff.
Right.
It's more than just, meme coins.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Gold Key actually mentioned something about like if you guys only knew what Dipcatcher is working on now. So imagine.
He kind of hinted that you can burn Maxi. But the question is, why would it be incentivized? What's going to be good enough? And you could potentially airdrop something to people who burn Maxi. But what's going to be so good that it would incentivize you to burn Maxi? Knowing that if you burn Maxi as well, you're kind of pumping everyone's bags because it's less Maxi in the pool. So everyone else with Maxi has a bigger share of that pool. I've no idea what he's thinking up. I can't work it out, but it's pretty fun to watch.
Definitely, there is going to be a DAO, like where you can. Like, it's already in its name, like Maximus DAO on Twitter. So they might have some kind of incentives and weird things going on. Let's see. We are just getting started, and Pulse Chain also gives a lot of liberties regarding like the calculations that can be done because of there are limits on Ethereum, the gas limits. So we will see much more interesting things coming out on Pulse Chain.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to track everything. Essentially, there's so many game theories, there's so many ways to make money coming out on Pulse Chain in the future as well. So how are you going to keep track of all the stuff? You need to, I don't know, write a book or make a website and have thousands of links with different game theories.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Maybe just do the things that you know well.
Mm-hmm. But I heard you mentioned before. I heard Orca making this Pulse Chain. I don't know whether Orca. I think Orca was involved, or he's trying to make it. Or I don't know. Somehow he making this Pulse Chain police that if you as a developer or you know somebody who's developing something has these codes, then these police can actually double check these codes and check into the codes and see whether they're right.
Yeah,
before launch and after launch.
Yeah, they only check code, and it's only for things that you have a concern about. So if you have a very specific concern, then you go, I've got this concern, that concern. Is anybody willing to look over it? So it's not a place where you can go and just, like, I tried once. There was some contract I found, and I was like, what does this do? And I was just saying, has anyone got time to look at this? And they asked me if I had any specific concerns, and I was like, no, just curious. And that is it's deleted all my posts. So it's not somewhere where you can go where you can just, if you're curious about something. It's if you have a specific concern about something, then it's a group of people who are, like people who know code, and if we're lucky, they'll have a look at it, and but they've been doing some great work already. I think it's PLS Police, I think.
Well, hopefully they have a donation address, like a bug bounty program or something of a sort. Give them some incentive to actually do some good research on it.
I think it was a Telegram chat or something. Somebody posted that here's a Telegram chat.
I can check for you if you want.
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up. Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'd just like to bring up, so they, when it comes to checks, they'll probably check these sort of things, right? Only super mint basically means you've got admin keys. You can mint as much as you like. Well, that's it.
So can we see Crypto King's man cave now?
Oh yeah, sure thing. Crypto King already.
Yeah, let's run it.
Let's do it. There it is.
But I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there. So don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're going to pay the consequences for that. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody. Literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done.
I like whales at the back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I visit Japan, this is the place to be. This is the Hex Pulse Hex Museum, right?
Absolutely. It's a shrine.
It's
Yeah,
the
every
shrine.
that those where the shield and the artwork is at, that's next to my bed. So every morning I wake up, I look, that's what I see.
I like the one with the where they made the hex logo with all the writings in there. What is the writings about? What is these? What are these addresses? Something?
What's that? The
Okay.
white one?
Yeah, the white one. Yeah, the white one with the hex logo. Yeah.
That's the white paper. Or
the hex white paper.
yeah.
That is
Yep.
awesome. That looks amazing. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, those
That looks
are
awesome.
linksartcollection.com. You could check out the these two of those pieces are both number ones. One's a 1 of 12, the Citadel, and the Major Rich, the astronaut, that's number 1 of 50. So yeah, they'll be on I believe they're in the highest of stakes. They'll be featured in the film as well.
Nice.
You must have some cash. Buying all the stuff getting sent over there.
All right, guys, we're ready to call it. We've got so much to do in the green room, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Blue Bum, for hanging out with us, brother.
For coming out.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yo,
Thank you, guys.
but I would like to take this out with a small song which I had written. I hope I can't see how many people are watching and how many likes we have got, but please give me a few seconds if to get the mic ready to.
Oh, we got 65
Oh.
likes.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so worth it. So
You can
luckily
start
we
whenever.
cannot see dislikes, and
Oh, do you need a minute?
Many minutes later.
Still wrecked. I'll give you a little bit more time.
One eternity later.
Still wrecked.
D, you still there?
He's
Might
just
be up in the
changing
mic still.
changing
Yeah,
his
you
clothes.
you getting ready for the stage? Oh man!
That's
I
all right.
hope D didn't rug us on the way out, because that'd be quite something. Oh.
No, there's 2 Ds now. Check that out.
He just
Forked himself.
He just replicated.
Right.
He forked himself.
The fucking cell splitting into two. Go ahead, D.
You're muted, D.
Nope, he's still muted.
Guess he's not ready. So let's keep filling
Maybe
in.
no battery.
no.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
take your positions.
Got him.
So this was the first verse of the open verse challenge. Second verse was very derogatory. I cancelled it. I hope this is worthy. I'm not your normal crypto. boy, they call me the man with the golden mic. I'm retired, not unemployed. I don't need nothing from you, no. Hex.com has got me set for life. Thank you.
That's it.
Outro.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep. On that note, it's time to say goodbye, is it not?
See you next week. Thanks.
See you next week, everybody. Post change.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Hopefully
All right,
live by our next show. So
it'll be nice.
enjoy.
Anyway, enjoy the
By the
rest
way,
of your week.
Yeah, so next show will be
Hit like, subscribe, get more people. We need.
And don't share your keys with anybody. Your keys are yours and yours only. Nobody will ever
We need
ask them for
1,000 subscribers.
Yep. Sounds like a plan. Black Swan is requesting the remix outro. So I think what he meant was the Kacha Bajam. Is that correct? Is that how I say it? D?
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
Kacha Badam.
Badam. Sorry, there you go. Nuts.
Roll it.
All right. Let's roll it. I'll see you all in the next one.
See you on the other side.
I badana se palo mata churi mala diye mobile body bhanga diye bam mobile body gulo pasi se kadam tat saman badam padan I badana se palo mata churi mala diye mobile body bhanga diye badam mobile body gulo pasi se kadam tat saman badam padan badam badam tat kacha badam amaga ki nai ko bubu badam 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 tat kacha badam amaga ki nai ko bubu badam 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 da da badam 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 da da badam 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 da da badam 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 amaga ki nai ko bubu badam
Hi, yeah, green again today. So sad.